This month is Black History Month. And
when you know your legacy, you don't walk, you spark. Catch the baton, pass the flame.
We're about to get into a story that is it's an incredible blueprint for freedom, really. A story called The Boy Who Bought Himself. Just think about that for a second. We live in an age of hashtags and viral moments, but long before any of that existed, one person's life could become a roadmap for changing the world. It sets the stage for a different kind of influence, one built with grit and incredible intelligence. And that person's name was Olaudah Equiano. His story, it's not just some footnote in a history book. It's a masterclass in resilience, in strategy, and in the unbelievable power of a single human voice. To really understand the man he would become, you have to first understand the world that was ripped away from him. So let's start there, with his childhood. This is so important to get. Olaudah Equiano had a full life before he was enslaved. He wasn't born into it. He was born in what's now Nigeria, part of a community with its own culture, its own traditions. He knew his family. He had a home. He had an identity. And this timeline just shows you how violently his life was torn apart. One moment, he's a free kid in his village. The next, at just 11 years old, he's kidnapped. And from there, he's thrown into the absolute horror of the transatlantic slave trade. Just like that, everything he ever knew was gone. But this is where the story takes such a remarkable turn. Because for Equiano, survival wasn't just about staying alive physically. It became an intellectual fight. He figured out, even in the worst circumstances, how knowledge could become a form of power. This is the key. Instead of being completely crushed, his mind was always working, observing. He saw that the people in charge had something he didn't. They could read, they understood numbers, they knew how trade worked. He realized that knowledge was like currency, and he wanted in. And this wasn't just some vague dream. It was a plan, a really detailed, long-term strategy. Just look at these steps. First, learn to read and write. Then master a trade, becoming a sailor, which let him see the world. He learned about business, about contracts, and through it all, step 4, he saved every single penny he could get his hands on. This was a calculated, brilliant plan, all carried out while he was still considered property. So all of this painstaking work leads to a moment that is it's almost hard to wrap your head around. He was going to use his plan to do the unthinkable, buy his own freedom. I mean, what a question, right? It almost feels wrong to even ask. How could you ever put a price tag on a person's soul, their future, their very being? And yet, in the twisted, awful logic of that time, there was a price. And after years of careful planning, saving, and scheming, Olaudah Equiano did it. He paid that price. He literally bought himself. But here's the thing. For Equiano, getting his own freedom wasn't the finish line, not even close. It was the starting gun. Freedom for him didn't mean he could finally be silent or just forget. No, it was a weapon. It was a responsibility. It was a call to action. So what do you do with that kind of freedom? Well, he turned his own life story into a tool to attack the very system that had enslaved him. This next part is maybe the most powerful chapter of all. He wrote a book, The Interesting Narrative of the Life of Olaudah Equiano, and its impact was like a bomb going off. This wasn't just a memoir, it was proof. It was a first-hand testimony from an intelligent, articulate man who laid bare the humanity of enslaved people for the whole world to see. I mean, really think about what this means. At a time when Black people were systematically silenced, his book became a bestseller. A formerly enslaved African man was one of the most famous authors of his day. He debated politicians, he commanded respect, he made people listen. And his very life just shattered the racist myths that were used to justify slavery. You had the myth that enslaved people were passive. The reality? Equiano was a brilliant strategist. The myth that they were just waiting for someone to save them. The reality? He wasn't waiting, he was planning. He wasn't voiceless, he was studying, preparing to make his voice heard around the world. What he understood, and what is still so true today, is that a story can change the world. A powerful, personal narrative can get into people's hearts and change their minds in a way that dry facts never can. His book helped fuel the abolitionist movement, and it directly contributed to Britain banning the slave trade in 1807. So when you look back at his whole life, What's the big lesson here? It's about so much more than just history. It's about owning your own life. He wasn't defined by what was stolen from him. He was defined by what he fought for and claimed back for himself. He claimed his name. He claimed his voice. He claimed his freedom. And this is the most important part. He then used all of it to fight for everyone else still trapped in that system. And maybe that's the core of it all. The most powerful changes in history don't always start with armies or governments. Sometimes they start with one person who looks at their situation and decides, no, my life is my own. It is worth owning. That decision right there can be a revolution. So we'll end on this thought. A story like this one isn't just a relic of the past. It's not finished speaking. It's talking to us right now about courage, about intelligence, about the power we have to write our own stories. The only question left is, are we listening?
When you know your legacy, you don't walk, you spark. Catch the baton, pass the flame, make your mark. This ain't history, sitting quiet in the dark. You are the story, history, period, do your part. From kings to queens, minds have changed the game. They like you, carry fire in your name. Let them inspire you, it's already in you. Ain't nothing moving forward till the world hears you. You got it, yeah, and it won't get done till you stand tall. Say, here I come, the whole world is waiting. Yeah, it's true, Black history lies and it lives in you. Ooh, ooh, ooh.